aqui mais romântico.
Hello and welcome back to Olympic Dispatch by Skimo Gold. This is the premier podcast and YouTube show for ski mountaineering interviews and race analysis. I'm your host, Travis Macy, coming in as always from Salida, Colorado, here in the heart of the Rocky Mountains. Ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow is the first day of ski mountaineering competition in the Olympics over there in Italy. It will be the sprint race. There's a men's sprint. There's a women's sprint. It's fast. It's furious. They are 3-minute all-out races in an elimination format. It's going to be super exciting. From Team USA, we have Cam Smith and Anna Gibson. Today's episode is the story of Team USA. We are giving you excerpts from a number of our listeners' favorite podcasts to come together to give you this narrative of who is Team USA, how did they make it to the Olympics, and why is the Skimo community here in the U.S. Just so excited for them and so proud of them. So we are bringing you first an interview between me and Cam Smith. This was done almost a year ago, and I think it's pretty special because we get a window into where Cam was at prior to Team USA qualifying for the Olympics. We hear about his journey through injuries and ups and downs, and it's pretty neat looking back on Cam's journey now that he is an Olympian. If you're like me and you've been lucky enough to know Cam Smith for many years, it's just always great to hear from him. And if you're new to the world of Cam Smith, you're going to love this. You're going to hear a person who is driven by joy and excellence and kindness and expressing himself fully through athletics. You're going to get to see that come out in Cam's interview. We're going to follow that with an excerpt from an interview with Cam and Griffin Briley, another star from Team USA. Griffin happens to be in Italy right now. He is an alternate for Team USA. Griffin is now 20. He's competing at the highest level. He came off of a number of youth world championships last year. He's now competing in the elite field, and he's right up there with the best of the best. Griffin's got a fantastic future, and he is also just a fantastic person. So we wanted to share a little bit from, it's a great window into Cam and Griffin when they were on site at a World Cup event in Europe last year. Following that, we've got maybe the ticket of the day, an interview with Cam Smith and Anna Gibson. They're reflecting on Anna entering the world of Skimo. She has a fantastic history, first as a child as an alpine skier, and then as a Nordic skier where she was high school national champion, and then as a runner where she was a great college runner and then became and still is a fantastic professional runner on the track, on the trails. And just last summer, Cam came to Anna and said, "Hey, do you want to try Skimo?" And she said yes, and the rest is history. So we're going to give you some of that story as well. If you don't know Anna yet, you're going to love getting to know her. And I think we're going to see just why Cam and Anna are great teammates because they're really on the same wavelength. We are excited to see that come out on February 21st in the mixed relay race. And finally, today we have an excerpt from an interview with Cam and some other figures from the Team USA Skimo infrastructure, reflecting on the big World Cup win at Solitude in December. And this is a super cool interview. Again, you know, Cam's probably the star of the show. Have Rory Kelly, Sarah Cookler, Oscar Angeloni. He is the coach of Team USA, and Alyssa Erickson. And it was really special for me to get to join all of them after that World Cup to celebrate to tell the story and just to hear about it all. So we are bringing you all of that today with one episode introducing Team USA. Even if you've heard these episodes before, I think you should re-listen to them because you're going to enjoy them. And if you're just finding out about Team USA, Skimo, this is the place, folks. This is the podcast for ski mountaineering. We are glad to have you joining our sport. And hey, let's roll. Racing starts at the Olympics. We've been working hard day by day through the Olympics to do these episodes. Big thanks to palmtreepodco.com. If you are a podcast host or you're thinking about starting a podcast, please check them out because they do a fantastic job producing this podcast for me, particularly when we're going back to back day by day. It's a lot of work. So thanks also to the brands who allow us to make this happen. You can see my shirt here if you're watching on YouTube. DynaFit. Hey, this is a cool brand. My kids like it. The teenagers like it. The those young trail runners out there on the trails, they think DynaFit is cool too. It's great stuff that works really well. But hey, it's also stylish, and that's something I need for sure. Thanks also to Pomoka. Those pink flashy skins. Watch these Olympics transitions. You're going to see the athletes doing this exciting double skin rip. Many of those skins are going to be hot pink, and they are Pomoka climbing skins. Thanks also to Training Peaks. This is the best platform around for athletes and for coaches to plan the training, to communicate back and forth, and to get industry-leading data and analytics. Please check out trainingpeaks.com/Skimo Gold for a free trial today. Please also check out revantacreatine.com/Skimo Gold with code Skimo Gold, all caps. That will bring you to Revanta Creatine by Neuro Reserve. And finally, check out Camp. Awesome products for the outdoors. If you want super technical products for mountaineering, ice climbing, skimo, rock climbing, Camp is definitely the place. All right, folks, it is time to roll. Here we go. Introducing you to Team USA on Skimo Gold.
I have so much fun just being with these people and having a good time outside.
Yeah. Wow, good for you, Kim. I love it's inspiring me and almost like that resonates deeply, and I think that's so important. I would say especially for athletes, you know, a lot of what we do, yeah, it is very self-focused. We're very often alone out there in the training and stuff. It sounds like you've been very intentional about maintaining this helping piece and this I mean, human connection, it really is the root of wellness. And it's so important for anyone. How about I can tell when you do this work, Cam, I'm getting a sense, and I think the listeners will as well, of that feeling of fulfillment, of connection, of, like you said, happiness, smiling. How about connecting to your values? Is that something you've worked with Kristen, or are there even names or labels of like life values that bring you to this kind of work with the Adaptive Athletes program?
You know, it exactly is just like you you lined me up to say. So the 4 words that we came up with were joy, adventure, kindness, and service. And
Mm,
it sort of turned into I have joy and adventure from the racing and kindness and service from working with our participants at Adaptive. So because of those conversations, I realized I need both of these things in my life. Like I can't, because that was sort of the alternative when I was going through the injuries. Was like, wow, should I just put more energy into my work and take fewer risks with my body and just enjoy this thing that I love so much? Or do I go all in on the racing and take these risks and yeah, live the faster paced life? And I
yeah,
realized because of those conversations, like I need both in my life. And there's a piece of me too that like I just feel like that the work that the whole organization does is so important. Like all of these people and athletes with disabilities need just a little bit of help. Like they just need the right type of bike that's able to be ridden with one leg and one arm, or they just need the right type of climbing adaptation that's able to help someone um, with cognitive disability have the confidence to be able to make it up something like they just need that one tool, or they just need
Yeah.
that one person that believes in them, or they just need someone to tell them that it's possible, or like some peers to do it with. And that little bit of assistance can start these positive cycles for the rest of their life of like, I'm scared to cross the street by myself, but I climbed up a rock wall in Crested Butte, and so now I'm not so scared of this daily challenge. And I just feel like it's those people just need such a small push to get such a huge benefit out of it, and they're forgotten by a lot of society. And so I just think that it's so important that that work gets done. And so I feel like if I'm separated from it, then like they'll just hire someone else to do the same job at the end of the day. But in my mind, like you can't live that way. Like if there's something you believe in that you think needs to happen in the world, then you have to just do it yourself. And so that's a piece of it too. So I do feel like I need both those pieces in my life to feel whole and to yeah, live my life the best I can.
Yeah. Oh man, good for you, Kim. I agree. I love that you said both. I think there's wisdom and nuance in that. And I think even to an elite professional athlete like yourself, that's advice I would give most people. Like, yes, this probably is going to be this athletic pursuit. It's probably going to become a pretty big part of your identity. That's almost inevitable when you're doing it at a high level. But what else is there? What is that both? What's that other piece of your identity, that other thing that's, connecting you back to the greater world, that's maybe providing a career path, if and when athletics aren't a big career component anymore. I think
Mhm.
that's really wise. And I love that keyword service as one of your values. And I think what's cool about that, Cam, again, compared to the athletics, is when we go out and race, it can be pretty clear the sort of the scorecards. This race, it was the A+, it was the D-. We can compare our times, our place, whatever. What's awesome about service, Cam, is like that's not really as definable, right? You go out and do it, and there's no quantity to it, and that's awesome. It's a contribution goal, right? It's a social goal. And because that's not definable, like, man, we can get, if you show up and you do the work, like you got an A+ right there. And that's great.
Totally.
That's really cool.
Yeah, and they support each other a lot. Like I know that when I have a poor series of races, it's like, well, there's more to my life, and it's not the only thing that defines where my mental health is at. And then at the same time, I can be on a bike day with a group of our participants, and some like one of my co-instructors brings up like, oh, Cam does races, blah blah blah, and then someone's like, oh yeah, actually, Ashley over there is a three-time Paralympian. It's like put some perspective into like a lot of times it's just not that big a deal that like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
Cam does this weird thing and disappears for a few months at a time, and like we're all happy for him and it's exciting, but like uh that's just not important to everyone else right now. And so it yeah, is grounding in that way too. So I like how it's not just trying to squeeze everything I can out of both components of life, it's that they're both supporting each other as well.
Nice. I love it. Yeah, perspective. Another more words of wisdom there. At the end of the day, not that big a deal. Something that is a big deal though, Cam, getting married. You guys got
Yeah.
first of all, congratulations. Way to
Thanks.
go. And is there a date this summer, fall, or you're working on it? What's the plan
Yeah,
there?
thank you so much for asking. We're so excited. It'll be this summer in July. We are engaged about a year ago. So we took our time getting it all set up, and we'll basically just hike somewhere with parents and siblings and do a little ceremony and then have a big party a few days later. So yeah, this coming July 2025.
All right, fantastic. Way to go. In the Crested Butte area, man, Crested Butte, Colorado, folks, if you haven't been there in July, go, because it is like, a restaurant, that's awesome, but Crested
It's
Butte,
unreal. Yeah.
while it's the best.
Yeah, just like buried in wildflowers of every color. And yeah, the streams are rushing and the peaks are bright green and white with some snow remaining. And yeah, it's a wonderful year for sure.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, this is great. As we wrap up, Cam, give us a quick glimpse. You got a few more World Cups this winter. Are you going to come back and do any of the U.S. events? Kind of what's on schedule for you and Team USA throughout the winter? And then are you looking at more trail running in the summer as well?
Yeah, thanks for asking. So I'm all in on the World Cup relays between now and April because that'll be what determines if we earn that quota spot for the Olympics next winter. And the important thing is that it's not just me, because as we saw this past weekend, like people can have bad races. Um, and because we have groups, because we have so many teams, we can all pick each other up. And so it's kind of this fun thing of like none of us will go to the Olympics if we don't earn a quota spot. And so right now it's not about who it is, it's just that we get it done as a team. So it's creating this really fun team environment where we're not competing with each other. Like we need to lift all of each other up just to do it for the country first, and then we can worry
Yeah.
about which individual will utilize that spot. But anyways, that's what I'm all in on is racing these next relays. So there'll be 5 more throughout this season, including
Mm,
the World Championship. And so that's sort of the B goal is to race well personally at the World Championships and have a good showing there. And that'll take us most weekends through April. Um, with a few of those World Cups won't have the relay in them. Makes the math add up. But anyway, then yeah, I'll go into summer running. So I'll have hopefully some new races on the calendar. I'm still penciling it all in, but my favorite events are the Rut and Broken Arrow and Pikes Peak Marathon. And so that's right
nice.
after the Rut, so I'll have to figure that out. But yeah, I found some events that I really like, and then hopefully I'll find some new stuff as well. At the Broken Arrow, I'll try to qualify for the Mountain Trail World Championships in September because that'll actually
Cool.
be a really good thing to focus on if I'm on the uphill or classic team going into the following winter of Skimo. It'll be really motivating to train for fast, explosive running.
Yeah.
So that's a goal of mine. I think it's going to be really hard to do this year with some really good depth on yeah, in running in the USA as well right now. And
Yeah.
people are just getting more and more excited about it. And that world championship is getting more legitimized, I think. So yeah, I think that's gonna be really tough, but that's what I'm going for. And that'll take us into the Olympic year where hopefully I'm in a good position to yeah, to be in the Olympics, or if not, I'll be cheering for whoever earns that quota spot that we're all fighting for.
Yeah. Cool, man. I love it. Sounds like a great plan. If people want to follow Cam, maybe tell us first, like Team USA Schemo, is there social media? Should we be looking other places on YouTube? I know I've been looking at the ISMF YouTube channel. They come out with kind of mostly highlight videos after each of the World Cups. Those have been super fun to watch. Where else should people look for that? And looking for you in particular with the Schemo and the running stuff.
Yeah, I think so. If people use Instagram, that's a pretty easy way. Like following my personal account or the USA Skimo, the ISMF is the International Federation, so that's ISMF Skimo. And then Skimo Stats is an independent
Mm,
organization that just does an incredible job covering all these races, and then they'll cover the
yep.
non-World Cup events as well and do some really good photography and storytelling and all that. So if you use Instagram, that's a really easy way, but fortunately a lot of people don't use Instagram and good for those folks. So separate from that, the like ISMF YouTube channels at Olympics.com will live stream all of the relays and some of the other events as well. I don't know exactly uh like is it the same website every time. I'm not a great person to ask. My mom would be able to tell you exactly where to find the one that's on March 15th and what time it's
Perfect.
happening and when my start time is. So if anyone wants to
All
just
right.
yeah, reach out to my mom, then
We'll
she'll
get
know it
Cam's
all.
mom's phone number in the show notes. In
Yeah,
addition
perfect.
to
She'll love that.
in addition to your great recommendations, Cam.
Yeah.
Nice. I love it. Well, I'll be following along. And final question, Cam Smith, why should people ski uphill?
Oh, great question, Travis. Because it is an exciting way to do all of skiing. So You can climb, you get to spend time outside, you're spending time with friends, you're seeing beautiful views, you're getting stronger, you're taking care of your body and your mind, and then you still get to have the thrill of the downhill after. So it just takes all the best parts of skiing and puts them all together, and you sure don't have to race to enjoy it all too. So it's an amazing sport. It's the best sport in the world. It's really hard to access, unfortunately, which is why it's not more popular than basketball and soccer. Um, but if people have the luxury of being close enough to mountains to do it and can access some gear, then it's the most beautiful sport in the world. So I hope people get a chance to try it out one day.
This is Travis Macy. I host the Skimo Gold podcast, and I'm also the owner of Macy Endurance Coaching. As an endurance coach for runners, cyclists, ski mountaineers, adventure racers, and multi-sport athletes, I've used the Training Peaks platform daily on the computer and also on the mobile app since 2013. If you are an athlete or coach wanting to up your game, check out trainingpeaks.com/Skimo Gold to sign up for a free trial today. Many athletes and coaches know Training Peaks is the industry leader for data insights and analysis, and I very much believe this to be the case. Just as importantly, however, are Training Peaks' many built in tools for thorough communication between athlete and coach. These are tools I rely on every day and are a huge piece of the personalized coaching that I provide to the athletes with whom I work. Thorough data and comprehensive communication provide a foundation for person first, highly tailored coaching. Training Peaks allows all of this to happen seamlessly and efficiently. One feature of Training Peaks that I really like as a coach is the ability to pull up two athletes simultaneously and see their calendars next to each other, and to even drag items from one calendar to another. This is very helpful to me if I'm coaching a team of athletes, or maybe athletes who are friends and want to do some of their training together, or as I very commonly do, coaching spouses who want to align some but not all of their workouts. I find it very helpful. I can also compare an athlete's training currently to maybe what they did at the same time period last year, to see how those things are comparing and how we might be able to do things better. Again, please check out trainingpeaks.com/Skimo Gold. You can get a free trial as an athlete or as a coach. And if you're already using Training Peaks and you're a ski mountaineer, please consider one of the Training Peaks Skimo plans that will also get you an additional 20% off your premium subscription. Again, that's trainingpeaks.com/Skimo Gold. Big thanks to Cam Smith for that fantastic interview. If you want the full interview, go back, scroll back. I think it might have been the very first episode of Skimo Gold. It's starting to feel like a long time ago now. Up next, we have Cam and Griffin Briley. These guys have often been roommates out there on the World Cup circuit. They are two of the top Skimo racers. Super excited for Griffin, both right now in the Olympics as an alternate, and also just his future. So you're going to enjoy this little clip with Cam and Griffin. It's a question for both you guys. I think Cam is my understanding. I think you're still self-coached. Griffin, how about you? Do you have? I know you guys have a coach in the U.S. ski team. I imagine that's sort of more tactics. You know, what are the team makeup, that kind of thing. Griffin, do you have a coach who's creating training, programming, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, so previously, up until this fall, I had not had a coach other than the Adam Loomis, who was just the technical coach for Park City Skimo, and Nick Francis, who filled that role as well. But I really started working with a coach deeply on all the fine tuning of Skimo. His name is Oscar Angeloni. He is the USA Skimo national team this season,
Mm-hmm.
or coach for the US team this season.
Yep.
So that has been super helpful in many ways. I mean, I used to kind of stress about what I was going to do for that day, how I could optimize my training plan for the goals ahead, and just yeah. Um, and also being able to learn from Oscar is super helpful. My main motivation for not having a coach when I was growing or when I was slightly younger was I really wanted to be a student of the sport. So I enjoyed like reading about physiology and sports. And I think that really helped me get a base. And then Oscar is just kind of reinforcing that and showing me how it's really done. And yeah, he knows so much from having so much experience in Skimo, especially.
When you've like taken off in a lot of your like sprint and relay racing in particular, do you attribute that to like some of your tweaks with training that Oscar's made?
Yeah, for sure. So I used to not have any interest in the Olympic disciplines, which include the sprint and mixed relay. Um, and as I've kind of grown to like these events more, the motivation to really try to be good in them and be up to par with the rest of the World Cup scene. Oscar has been super helpful with that. Because he has so much experience with helping athletes achieve World Cup wins and winning sprint and um, especially towards the Olympics, there's a lot more, or like as we approach the Olympics, there's a lot more fine tuning going on with each workout and how we think about things and the transitions and yeah, no detail left behind.
Yeah. Oh man, I love that. And Griffin, thanks for sharing that. I think Griffin, that is some wisdom right there for a young athlete. Like, embrace the sport and have fun and be a student of it. And I think, yeah, don't have too much structure too soon. Sometimes, we see high school athletes, whether it's an endurance sport like skimo or running or cycling, or a traditional sport, basketball, soccer, whatever. Sometimes if there's too much structure and too much, just intensity, really too fast, that can create burnout. And it seems to me here you are, a year and a half out of high school, and you seem pretty pumped about it, and that's awesome. And being excited and being energized, like that leads to results just as much as doing the right intervals or whatever.
Yeah.
With you said tweaks to your training. Can you give us any examples, like what is Oscar tweaking? Is it doing the exact right intervals? Is it using heart rate? Is it gear? Is it transition? Is it fueling? What are the things that have helped you recently?
Yeah, it's a lot. It's all of those things that you just mentioned. But coming from a background or a background and knowledge that like more is more. So doing huge days in the mountains, like 4 to 6 to 7 hours a day, seemed like the thing to do. And it works for long distance, but also now I'm realizing after working with Oscar that less is more and quality over quantity goes a really long way,
Mm,
especially towards these
yep.
shorter events. So sometimes I feel like, oh, like I'm really not doing that much, but in reality, I'm doing it right and I'm doing it the way that optimizes my performance for said sprint and mixed relay events.
Can you give us an example of one of the workouts that you've liked? Because one of my favorite things has been to ask you like, "Oh, well, what workout did Oscar give you for tomorrow?" Or like, "Oh, you did a hard workout yesterday. Like, what did Oscar give you?" And I've really enjoyed hearing some of the formats. So what's one that you've enjoyed? Like, give people an example of a workout you would do for training for like skimo, sprints, and mixed relays.
Yeah, well, I mean, if I told you, I'd have to kill you. No, but in all seriousness, one of my favorite workouts was so you do quite a long warm up to build a bit of fatigue in the legs and just get your body like primed um, to push hard. And you start with like 20 seconds and then you do a 1 minute rest and then 40 seconds, 1 minute rest, and then 60 seconds. So it's like 20, 40, 60, increasing in speed and in time. So it's like a progressive sprint workout. And you do that a couple of times. And um, it really hits kind of all spectrums of the sprint. Like in that first 20 seconds, you get a lot of like neuromuscular activation, just like pushing as hard as you can. And then the 40 seconds, you're just kind of like hanging on, in the middle of the sprint. And then the 70 seconds is like the last hurrah, just going all out and finishing on the ground. And then you got a couple minutes to recover before you do the next round. But yeah, I really enjoyed those kind of short workouts. I like to put some headphones in and just kind of go out there and beat myself up.
Well, and just to clarify too, I think you're doing those three consecutively a second time, and then you have a rest, and then you do
Yeah,
another two
exactly.
rounds. So it's 4 rounds of that same thing. So like 8 minutes of on time total
Yeah,
or something like that. And then a break between that second and third set a little bit.
yeah,
But you'll roll straight from the first to the second and straight from the third to the fourth.
yeah.
I remember this, even though this happened in November, is because I had a similar workout the next day, and I was like, "Oh, that's a great idea. I want to try that." And I thought it was really fun, and repeated it a couple times.
Yeah, it's a good workout for sure.
I like it. Less can be more. Yeah. I mean, and that's an athlete that, that we often, or excuse me, that's a lesson that we often have to learn as athletes, over and over again. Griffin, when you're doing those pushes, these are super fast. If listeners, if you haven't watched the Skimo World Cup, go to the ISMF YouTube channel, check out these guys and their competitors. Um, the speed is incredible, guys. In these sprint races or the team relay, like you're flying. There's a lot of running. It's not clunky running, but it's running with skis and still gliding. It's amazing how you guys do it, but it's super fast. So Griffin, when you're doing these intervals, like, tell me about the cadence and the form. Is it a running form? Is it a more of the traditional skinning, kick and glide sort of form? Is it a mix of those, depending on what gradient that you're doing? Say more about that. And furthermore, just running in Skimo in general. I feel like there's like more of it, at least watching the World Cup stuff.
Yeah, it's totally different than running just on a trail with trail shoes on. If you try to run with skis on without having tried it before, it's just a mess and it's not going to look very pretty. It's going to be super tiring and really inefficient. But yeah, when you're running at high speeds, for example, like in a mixed relay or in a sprint, it's a full body motion. Your core is engaged, your arms are working, and legs are moving all in sync. Yeah, it's something that I really like to work on and like redefine based on the demands of each course. So if it's going to be flatter, I'll try to glide more. And if it's like a 10% gradient, I like to run. It's like a mix of a run and glide. But yeah, everybody's different and they have their own stride, but it's definitely something that um is important this day and age.
Yeah, it's like an interesting jump in
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
because
thanks.
the sport lately too. Like 6 or 8 years ago, if someone was running on their skis, we would kind of be like, "Oh, that like yeah, super fit non-skimo racer they're running, like they can do that, but like they'll learn eventually, like they're gonna burn out and they're not getting the most out of themselves and like they need to learn some technique and like it was like running was almost taboo, like it was a sign of like yeah, inefficiency and poor technique. And then as the levels gotten higher and higher and athletes
Yep.
have gotten more proficient and stronger, it's now it's like an arms race where you have to run. Like you just
Yeah.
can't keep up in these events. Sprint, relay, vertical, even often in the individual, like you have to run or else you'll get dropped. So like it's really shifted 180 in that way over the last like 5 years or so, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, thanks for sharing that, guys. Yeah, because I know I was that runner who was running on skis in a very inefficient way with clunking, and I just remember the skis, like every stride it's coming many inches across, off of the ground, and then back down, lots of extra noise. That's not what you want. But Cam, say more about that. Like, if someone's listening to this, they're probably not on the World Cup, but maybe they're getting ready for Power of Four or the Eldora race or even the Grand Traverse, that's more gradual with a lot of kick and glide. What should they be thinking about technique wise if they're trying to get this run or maybe just get more glide? Like, what are some of the things that just, kind of the typical Skimo athlete can apply to being better technique wise?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I would first think of it as like as pervasive as it is in World Cup racing, like those events are 75 minutes at most, and it's really happening in those like 20-minute and shorter events. And those are all happening at lower altitudes on really fast, like high moisture snow too. So I mean, if someone's getting ready for the Power 4 and Grand Traverse, they probably shouldn't be thinking about it too much because there is a much higher metabolic cost. But now just because of the level of competitiveness and because of those, just factors that racing in Europe entails, you have to keep up with that pace. But until the Power 4 starts being done in 3 hours and the Grand Traverse starts being done in 4 hours, you don't have to worry about it quite yet. So I hope people take some solace in that. But it's fun to play around with, like even if it's not something that you quote unquote need for your performance in your races. Like hopefully even people training for those events play around with doing some shorter races like those weekday ones in Eldora and A Basin, and they're popping up all over the place. I think Utah is a good series for it too.
Yeah.
And those are really fun, and I think people should be stoked to try that, whether they have skinny skis and tight clothing or not. But anyway, that's a whole nother tangent. But like, yeah, I mean, even if you're training for those longer events, you're probably doing some shorter intervals and some good power and technique work, so it should come into play there. But given that caveat, I mean, you want to be really thinking about driving your knee forward, and like maintaining as quick and smooth of a cadence as you can. And so kind of like you mentioned, Travis, with your foot coming way up, like if you feel or hear any clonking and any clonking along the trail, then you know that you're wasting some motion going up and down. I mean, just like someone would with running. And so you want to think about like keeping those feet nice and low, really driving the knee, keeping that cadence high, and then letting the arms do whatever they do. So, I mean, if you force trying to single stick each time, like your right hand comes forward with every left foot, your stride might get a little too short. And I start to see people really tense up with their elbows at their sides, and they're just doing little tricep extensions and taking these tiny little steps. And it's not very powerful, right? So like if you're running, it's because you're using power. And so if you're using power, I want you to think about really driving the knee forward, really trying to cover some ground with each step, and hopefully your arms are staying involved. But I see a lot more like syncopated pulling motions too, like the left pull lands, the right pull lands, and you'll take 4 steps instead of 2, just because otherwise it's hard to maintain the cadence. So I guess the point is like if you're using it, you're using some power, and so you should act like you're using some power. And if you're doing that really light jog with just like little tiny chink 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 chink, just like swinging from your elbows, and you find yourself really struggling to maintain that, you should probably switch back to a good strong gliding and skinning motion.
Hey, thanks, Griffin. Thanks, Cam. That was a fun excerpt. If you'd like to check out that full interview, scroll back through our archives on the podcast player on skimogold.com or on YouTube, where full episodes are available as well. Up next, we have a chat with Cam and Anna Gibson. We did this in the fall, kind of just coming off of trail running season. Both of these athletes had fantastic seasons. They ran at the Trail Running World Championship. In fact, Anna got the bronze medal in the vertical race at the Trail Running World Championship. And at this point, they were just looking ahead to the Skimo season. So let's get to know them. Team USA, here they are, Cam Smith and Anna Gibson.
I'm at Broken Arrow, and I had been talking with my wife, Lynn, all spring, and we're talking about Skimo and relay racing. And it's like, oh, like, what can we do to make the team stronger for next year? And like, well, I could be good to kind of add some talented athletes, right? Like get some more talented skiers, mountain athletes in the mix, and just make the team stronger. That makes everything better. And she was like, well, who would you ask if you could? And I was like, well, Jessie Diggins, but she's busy. She's like, okay, who else? I'm like, well, there's this girl, Anna Gibson, that's like an amazing uphill runner, and she like has all these results from trail racing, and she grew up in Jackson, so I'm sure she's a great skier. I didn't even know she was a Nordic high school national champion. So
Oh, wow.
like Anna and I just intersected in trail races a lot the last few years, because we're both kind of on the same Sub Ultra track and like a lot of the same events. And she was like, well, why don't you talk to her? And I said, no, like surely she's thought of this. And And there's a reason that she hasn't reached out. Like she's busy with other things. Like she has this whole other career track running with Brooks and all this. And she's like, well, why don't you just talk to her at Sunapee? And I'm like, fine, fine, fine. And then Sunapee comes and goes, and I didn't really get the chance. I was focused on racing. It wasn't really a weather weekend where you wanted to just hang out outside and chat with your friends for hours and hours. So I just didn't really get the chance. And I get home, and on Tuesday, Lynn's like, so how'd the talk with Anna go? I'm like, oh, I actually didn't get the chance. She's like, what are you doing? Like, why are you not taking this seriously? And I'm like, oh, like I'll chat with her at Broken Arrow. And she's like, text her, call her right now. I'm like, no, I'll talk to her at Broken Arrow. Broken Arrow comes and goes, but then fortunately we're both hanging around for the few days after. And then let's connect back to where our summers intersect, which is the conversation we had post Broken Arrow. So Anna, what's your recap of how that conversation went?
I love this. This is hilarious. I feel like I'm being exposed right now. But my recollection of this conversation is that you had actually come up to me at Broken Arrow and you said, hey, I want to chat with you about Skimo. And so it was already in the back of my mind. We like didn't get the chance to chat right then. So it was like days had gone by. And then you came up to me again and you were like, hey, like we're going to have that conversation about Skimo. And the first thing you said was, you can tell me right now if the answer is no, and I will never ask you about this again. I will leave you alone. But if the answer is not no, I think you should do Skimo. And I just thought it was funny. I guess I should also go back. Like we should go back a couple of years when I first met you, Cam. It was at the Rut up in Montana, and we were both running for DNFit. Obviously, you still are. But I was told by, the other DNFit people, they're like, you got to meet Cam Smith. He's awesome. Absolute legend. Total multi-sport athlete, like such a badass. And so I showed up at the Rut just like, all right, where's this Cam Smith guy? And like met you immediately. You're so welcoming, so nice. And like, I will say like the Skimo seed has been like in my head for so long. And the answer has never been like firmly no. It's just always been like, yeah, at some point in the future, like I'll probably do it. Like I'm just going to. So it's honestly like kind of felt inevitable. So when you came up to me in June after Broken Arrow, I was like, yeah, why not? Like give me the rundown. What's the hard sell? And I think you just caught me at like a really good moment where I was like I had prefaced earlier, I kind of started my year off knowing it was like the year of exploration, the year of experiments. Like I wanted to race my bike. I wanted to do longer running races. I wanted to do things that really challenged me. I wanted to do doubles back to back of things that like everyone else would be like, you're crazy. Why are you doing that? And so to be like, hey, you want to add another sport to the mix? Like, let's get this going. I kind of was just like, why the heck not? Like, why not now? Why, like, what am I waiting for? If this is going to happen eventually, I might as well just do it. Yeah. So I'm really glad that the conversation was started. Thank you. And thank you, Lynn.
Yeah. Shout out to Lynn for, oh gosh, we can just sit here and list all the things to shout out for Lynn, but shout out to Lynn for keeping on me about taking that initiative. Because yeah, we're excited to have Anna on the team. So she was named a discretionary selection to our development team, but that gives Anna the opportunity to race her way to more opportunities. And basically that sell that I gave to Anna was, like I think a lot of our listeners know, but just to recap folks if they don't, is we're right on the bubble for Olympic qualification, and that's going to come down to that first World Cup in December and just how we perform there. And we'll have a selection camp 2 weeks before, and essentially barring unforeseen circumstances, the top two finishers there will then, or top male and top female, will then be our relay team that we're sending into that World Cup to try to earn the quota spot for the team. And so we're just trying to add talented athletes, and we'll see where Anna's at when she gets on the snow. But yeah, we're really excited to have her in the mix for sure. So that's what I told her in that conversation, standing somewhere at the base area of Palisades, was like, hey, we have this golden opportunity right in front of us, and maybe it turns into the Olympics or maybe it doesn't, but let's just take this leap and like join our team at this exciting time and see what happens. And there's a future with the Olympics and there's a future without the Olympics. It's just an exciting thing to explore and have fun with, and just an awesome fit for the kind of athlete that Anna is. So here we are. But we wrapped up that conversation saying, like, okay, like I being me, is I really don't want this to affect your trail season, because like you're racing 2 events at Worlds and you're the double national champion. Like in a lot of ways, you're leading the team into Worlds, and one of the team leaders and one of the people that we're counting on to help the team have the best championships that we can. And you had some more races on the calendar before then, and I knew you were going to do Golden Trail, and I was like, don't let this like affect all the stuff that you already have planned. And I know that that's what was on your mind and your coach's mind too. So how did that next, let's see, 4 months go on a post Broken Arrow?
Yeah. I mean, I think I kind of just like got back to it and kind of progressed with like the plan as it was, and tried to just like sprinkle in little hints of Skimo along the way to make sure that I was getting prepared in case this all like actually worked out. Which like I would say as of right now, it's already working out. Like it's been great. But like I just wanted to prepare myself to be in a position to like actually try and help and like be a part of the team and everything. And yeah, just get to race this winter. But there was a lot of pieces that needed to come together. Like you said, just with like, you know, making sure that my coach thought it was a smart idea, making sure that like my sponsors were okay with it, because running is my full-time job, and it's like really important that I'm you know, making sure that I'm doing everything right from their perspective. And a lot of like running contracts like say that you're not even allowed to ski, and so like mine, unfortunately, I've navigated that well, but it's just definitely something that you have to like check in on when you start doing like a new thing. So yeah, just I wanted just to make sure that everything was like all in order. But at the same time was like, okay, like I need to focus on running. I need to make sure that I'm doing everything I need to do this season that I already had planned. And um, that was a couple bike races that I had signed up for. So I raced Steamboat Gravel and Crusher and the Tusher. Just more opportunities to like really challenge myself. And it was super fun. I definitely was challenged by those, but it was also nice. I took a little bit of like a break from trail training in the middle of my season, which I think like really helped the longevity of getting me up until now, like mid-October, and like still feeling healthy and feeling strong. And then I got back to racing some trail stuff. Let's see, I'm trying to think of what was next. Oh, I think I raced the Rendezvous Hill Climb in Jackson in my backyard, which was the first trail event I ever did back in high school. So sort of just a sentimental, really fun kind of community experience. And then I went over to Sears and All. I raced there, and then the World Championships and the Golden Trail final. So it kind of just like went by in a blur, but just checking off like one race after another. And yeah, it all went really well. I'm really, really, really happy with the season. Like it was honestly better than I could have ever like imagined. If I had told you like best case scenario, I don't even think that I would have like described what actually ended up happening. Like it ended up so good. So
Way to go.
Awesome. And yeah, shout out to Brooks for their like ability to work with you too, because it would be so easy for a company to say like, no, like you are like an athlete and an asset on their team, and have this track that you're on and the track that's more visible in the running space, and this is what we want you to do. Like it'd be easy for them to sort of pigeonhole you, but it seems like they work with you and the unique person that you are, and they know that this is what makes you happy and arguably perform at your best because you're doing all these other things. So that's awesome that, yeah, you have such a great relationship with them.
yeah, I mean, I feel so fortunate. Like that could have gone a very different direction. I mean, all of these things could have like not panned out for me just because, you know, I've chosen to like really pursue running and like put a lot of energy into it. And so if Brooks had said no, like we would prefer that you didn't, I think that I probably would have honored that. And I'm really grateful that like they've never put me in a position to feel like they know better than me, or like they, you know, I just feel like they wholeheartedly like truly support what I want to do. And if like I think it's a good idea and my coach thinks it's a good idea, and I see value in it, then like they just get excited about it too. And it's really, really awesome. So I'm very fortunate for that.
Yeah, that's huge.
It's great.
So that's a great explainer of like, yeah, we had the whole running season, we had the idea of Skimo, and you said you added a little Skimo here and there in ways that didn't mess up or not mess up, but affect your running goals and the track that you were on there. Let's talk about those little tidbits. Mainly, you came to a weekend-long camp in Utah, in Big Cottonwood, and or I guess all over the Cottonwoods, and then our week at the Stelvio before heading down to Spain. So let's talk about those weekends a little bit, and I'll share from my perspective how the first weekend in Utah was going to, and then I want to hear about your idea. So, or your perspective. So we were talking about like, oh, like, can you make it to this camp, that camp? And you had other races, other things going on. And the first opportunity you had to come meet the team was this previously scheduled weekend long camp in Utah, where we were going to just do some transitions on dry ground, some hill bounding workouts. Some people were going to race a Cirque Series event. And we were all on our way there. And I had some travel delays with someone that I was going to travel with, and plans changed and this and that. Basically, I ended up being a few hours late, and I was like, oh no, now Anna's gonna like go meet the team by herself, all this big scary Skimo team and this whole new sport, and she's not gonna have the familiar face in me to ease the transition. And then I got there a few hours into the camp, and it was clear that that was not necessary for me to be there. So can you talk about how that weekend went for you, and just kind of meeting the team and how that process has been?
For sure. Yeah. I mean, I will say it was like pretty anxiety inducing at first. Like the thought of just showing up in this environment with like the US national team, knowing very few people, um, like especially without you there, Cam, it was like, man, like I'm such a noob. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm gonna embarrass myself so much. Like I'm probably not doing the transitions right because I was like totally fumbling my way through this. Like I've been skiing my entire life, but I've not done Skimo training at all. And I like had no idea what I was doing. So I was totally faking it. Like I was like, man, is my gear all right? Like I probably don't have the right gear. Like my poles weren't dialed. Like I was so stressed about all these little factors. Like don't have the race suit. Like how am I supposed to do transitions without the race suit? Like there's all these things that I was just so worried about. But that was kind of part of like what I had signed myself up for. And I was like, yeah, like it is a weird thing to be a professional and to be like a high level athlete, but to sign yourself up for something that you feel like an absolute noob doing. Like I know I can ski, but this whole summer version of Skimo training camp was like a really big stretch for me, and just felt really uncomfortable. But then I immediately showed up and I met Sarah Cookler and Oscar Angeloni in the parking lot. And I was like, these people are wonderful. I just immediately had such a good first impression of both of them. And then the team starts showing up. It was all the junior athletes, and they were all super nice, and just like it was such good vibes right from the get-go. So then by the time Cam showed up a few hours later, I was already like feeling great. I was like, this is all gonna be fine. Like I can make such a fool of myself doing transitions. That's whatever. Like these people are awesome and no one's judging me. Like I felt super welcomed.
Yeah, it was hilarious to show up to, because I'm like, oh, like I'll like walk up to the group, hey everyone, like, oh hey Anna, how's it going? And they were like already having side conversations with all the other like juniors on the team. They're like, oh, I guess she's part of the group now. This is all good. So yeah, it was fun to watch that unfold over that weekend, and then yeah, kind of get the whole transition practice as a group going, because that's, as we've talked about, like a big component to the sprint and relay racing, and then something that is like one of the only areas that you don't really have a background in, but you've been putting the work in, obviously, and that was kind of where we were all going to see like um or like you were going to see like, oh, how much has the living room practice paid off. And yeah, it was cool to get feedback from the coaches and do it all as a group. And Spoiler for the listeners, Anna is a quick learner, and yeah, I was picking up on all the little intricacies of those movements pretty well. But yeah, definitely got to get on snow this fall, and we'll talk about the fall plans a little bit to get that extra bit of, yeah, how things get more weird, more awkward in a race situation on snow. But anyway, that was the Utah camp, and we had a great time. A few weeks later, we're heading to Italy and then Spain, and then for you back to Italy to do a team training camp up on the Stelvio and at San Martino. You and I were going to use that as a tool to get over our jet lag while also spending time with the team, working on some things with the team before taking that theoretically easy flight down to Spain, which didn't end up being the easiest day. But we had some really good conversations. Sorry if I hadn't said this explicitly. This is like the week before World Championships when we're heading down to Spain. So Anna and I kind of had the same sort of September plan with that. We were going to go to the team camp, go through all that with the group, spend time together, all those things that I just said, and then travel down. And we had some really good conversations while we were training up at that camp, because there were a few days that the team was going roller skiing or doing some like more specific hill bounding workouts with poles, and Anna and I were focused on the running world championships the next week. So we like had a few different workouts, and so that ended up meaning the two of us took a few runs, just the two of us, while everyone else was doing their more ski oriented training. And we had some really good conversations about what this all meant and how this all fits into the bigger picture and kind of the journey that we're on, and just how exciting it is to be where we are and be doing what we're doing. So Anna, can you recap some of those conversations we had on those runs at the Stelvio and hanging around in San Martino?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I think I can remember, like, especially one conversation. We were like up high in the Dolomites. We'd just gone on this big mountain run that was not very many miles, but was like a lot of vert and just like very rugged terrain. Just one of the most stunning runs I've honestly ever been on. And Cam and I went and added a little bit of mileage on, while the rest of the team like headed back down. And um, we just were having a conversation just in this like gorgeous, incredible place, just about how like this is the point. Like it doesn't even matter what ends up happening with this. Like it doesn't matter if like ultimately I just like completely suck and I like, I don't do well at the November selection races and don't get to race at the first World Cup. Like it doesn't matter if like the US team doesn't make the Olympics. Like obviously that's the goal and that's what everyone is thinking about, but like this is the point. Like the point is to be here having these incredible experiences as a team, like really supporting each other. And I think I was just like having this kind of like epiphany moment where I had been like honestly a little bit stressed about like going to this Skimo training camp the week before the World Championships for running, which like I've been working to go to Worlds for trail for like so long. And it felt like kind of a big risk to show up to a training camp and like go skiing when I haven't been skiing since last spring, and to spend time with all these people who like I've literally only spent 3 days with in Utah prior to this experience. And now suddenly like we're on a glacier in Italy, like training together for a week and then going to the Dolomites. It felt like a really big kind of sendy thing to do. But in that moment, like up on this run with Cam, we were just both like, no, like we're exactly where we need to be. Like we're just doing it right. Like if this is making you happy and this is fun and this is like just feels good, like this is it. This is the whole point. And I think like that's just where I've come to with this whole thing. Like that's exactly why I'm doing this. Like I think the sell was, well, it's the Olympics this winter and the US team has a chance of making it. Like maybe you can help contribute. But ultimately now I'm like, that's not even like why I'm doing this. Like that's obviously what we're all training for and thinking about. But it's just about like the experiences along the way and like, yeah, trying a new challenge, signing up for things that are scary, and yeah, just having a good time with it.
thanks to Dinafit and Pomoka for supporting the Skimo Gold podcast, two of my favorite brands in the ski mountaineering space. If you've ever ridden a bike, you know how important the tires are because they are literally where the rubber hits the road. Well, when it comes to ski mountaineering, where the ski hits the snow on the uphill is the climbing skins. These are what allow you to get enough traction to stay attached to the hill, but also have enough glide to slide forward and do it with speed. The way I do that, and the way many of the Olympic athletes do that, is with the pink Pomoka skins. These have been my mainstay all along. Pomoka makes a variety of skins for different types of snow and different widths. They've got you covered. Check them out, Pomoka climbing skins. Once again, if you'd like to go back and find that full episode, that's on Skimo Gold, including mixed in with many other episodes of Olympic medal contenders and role players, etc. Go back, check out those previous episodes. Finally, last excerpt for today. This is a conversation celebrating the victory at the Solitude World Cup with people within the Team USA Skimo infrastructure. We got Cam Smith, we got Rory Kelly, Sarah Cookler, Oscar Angeloni, and Alyssa Erickson. This was a super special conversation celebrating probably Team USA's biggest victory ever in Skimo. And it was just an honor for me to get to be part of it. And I hope that you get to hear this today and just feel excited for Cam and Anna and Team USA going into the Olympics.
I have hundreds of reflections I can give you, so I'll try to keep it short and just give you a couple of things that really stood out to me and I took away from the weekend. But a couple weeks ago we had a first initial selection event that was full of challenges that we don't need to get into the specifics of. But I just that was a really stressful weekend, and a really I feel like as a team, kind of on the USA Skimo side, we really kind of scrambled to pull things together and make that work. But I just felt like, oh man, aren't we owed? Doesn't the universe owe us a good one? Can't things just go well? And the whole weekend was like, couldn't have written a better story. I mean, everything went smoothly and perfectly as if it was written to be like the final chapter of a really exciting period. And it just played out awesome. Two really like specific memories I have. I've been so like, my job is pretty frustrating a lot of the time. Like I discussed on your podcast, my official role, whatever that is, I try to just define my own role as like, find a place where you could maybe help and then try to help, because I don't really have any higher level direction than that. But I've been so focused on like, man, so many like boring meetings and like weird email chains and just frustrating things that are all like paperwork, that I've been so focused on like, man, shouldn't this work out? If we can get the quota spot, quota, it's so important. It'll all be worth something. And so that whole race, I'm watching them race and just thinking about quota and like the importance of like this as the goal. And then it wasn't until maybe Cam's, like the handoff from Anna's last lap to Cam, that I kind of became a sports fan again and got out of my head. And I was like, whoa, it's not that we're going to get quota. Like they're going to win a World Cup. And as a sports fan, like that's actually more important to me. And I started, it was just, really awesome to see the athletes, like Oscar. I was ready to, I can cry now thinking about just like, just what it means for a U.S. team to perform in a World Cup like that. So that was super cool for me. And then the other one, like, sorry for getting choked up, man, but I love what you guys did. So that was super cool. And then another really hyper specific thing right at the finish too, where, and I apologize, I don't remember who handed a flag to me, but somebody handed a U.S. flag to me. And just, I had been running in and out of sort of the athlete area, and they handed this flag to me, and it was like that moment you see on TV. I was like, oh, I know what this is for. And so I ran over to Anna. I was like, Cam's going to be coming in, right? So like, here's the flag, and she knew what to do with the flag. And it was just like, again, I kind of zoomed out my body, and I wasn't even there anymore. I was like watching a movie, and everything just played out exactly like you would expect. Cam comes in for the victory. Anna has the flag, big hugs. And it was so cool. It was just like watching the perfect story. And I was super gratified because I just felt like so many people have tried so much to get that moment.
Yeah.
And yeah, we got it. And yeah, I just felt like everybody deserved it. So yeah, it
Wow.
was just rad.
Man, thanks for sharing, Rory. And how cool that you had that moment of, okay, you're there as a professional, and then there's a shift. Now you're just a human and a fan and a friend. And I just, I can, you're there with our mutual friend, Joe Howdy Shell, and like, all these people who've like played a role. How cool, and Cam, that brings us to you, man. Like in life we work hard and we put ourselves out there and we prepare, and lots of times we do everything right and it doesn't quite come together. You know, and that's life, and it's okay. Like it doesn't mean we failed or something. Like that's just often the way it goes. And sometimes every once in a while, as a team, as a collection, as a country, like everyone goes in and it does come together. And like, dude, Cam, it was you. You and Anna were carrying the flag. Tell us, man, what do you think?
Oh, thanks, Travis, and thanks everybody. What I've been thinking, listening to everyone else's perspective and what was on my mind going into this was that no matter how things went, like there was gonna be celebration from this and amazing memories and relationships, and that we were all gonna be thankful for this no matter how things went. And I knew that in the back of my mind that the reason that was true is because of the preparation that we put in. Like we to take on the challenge of hosting a World Cup, which is just an unfathomable amount of work and commitment from the team organizing it and the people that have to support it financially, logistics wise, and the effort that it puts in. And then to think about Oscar and all the work that we did starting a year ago and going into the summer and fall and the preparation that took, and then knowing what all the athletes did on an individual basis, like not Anna and I, but the entire team, and the way that boat was lifted from these dozens of perspectives. It's like we could have crossed the line with any result as long as Anna and I had given a good effort, which I knew was going to happen, that we were going to celebrate it no matter what, and that people would have gotten to visit the US and had this experience all together. And then things worked out the way they did, and it did become the Disney movie, and everything went from being this awesome journey that we were all on together to a lifetime highlight for so many people. And so what the kind of specific story that I want to share is that, like, everyone was dancing around and celebrating and having fun and being there, but then like as soon as things would quiet down, like I'm thinking of dinner that night specifically, like I sat down, had this plate in front of me, and then I looked around the room and just saw everyone hugging each other and high-fiving and being so excited, and looking at this room full of people and knowing that like because of the way we raced, like this made a difference in people's lives and the way that they'll remember this weekend forever. And then like the juniors, not necessarily the juniors on our team that we just talked about, but the Silver Fork Skimo kids that Sarah's and Alyssa and everyone is coaching, that we're all out there and witnessed this happen and now realize that the sky is the limit for them, and that they would come up to us and we would chat, and I would hear about the practices that they've been up to the last few weeks. Like it's like those things changed because of the way that we raced. And so to like give that gift to everyone, to those kids, to the people that supported me, to the people that supported the team, like just made it like, yeah, all that much more special. And like it went from being like it was already the journey of a lifetime, like doing this with the team, and it went from the journey of the lifetime to the journey of a lifetime. And yeah, just just to experience this all with everyone will mean the world to me for forever. So yeah, I could talk about it all day, but let's pass it back to you, Travis.
Wow, thanks for sharing, Cam. And how I think it says a lot about you that's what stands out to you, that collective meal and that team moment. Yeah, what great memories. And you're exactly right. Like any kid who's there watching you guys do this or watching it on TV, that's an impact. And that's awesome. And that's like, boy, talk about a motivation to perform or get the win, knowing that impact is bigger. That's huge. I want to hear a little more about the race itself, and let's not gloss over all of the races. Yeah, I again watching the ISMF, it was the relay Saturday, the sprint Sunday. You don't get to see all the relay in terms of the qualifying times. You also don't get to see all the sprints with the qualifying. So, I got to see some. I'm curious to hear from any and all of you about, stuff we may not have seen on TV. Listeners, if you haven't watched this, go watch it. Go to the ISMF on YouTube. You can watch these whole things. Again, Nikki and Brad, great job on the calls. But it's fantastic, and it gives you a little bit of a preview of what we're going to see at the Olympics. There were Americans doing great in the sprints. Ian Clark got out to a great start. It looked like maybe a little struggle on that first transition, which happens. But firecrackers as always in the sprints. The B final in the mixed relay. What a battle there! Two American teams back and forth. Like kind of, stereotypically, two of the older athletes on one team, the younger athletes on the other, head to head, and finishing 1-2, and like watching that, it was the first hint to me, like, oh my god, like U.S. could win the next race, the A final. Like, look how good the Americans look. So that was really cool, and then Cam on to the A final in the mixed relay. Give us a bit of the play-by-play, like, beforehand. I'm curious about the, that mindset, especially with you and Anna, where, you guys always seem pretty cool and together with it. Is that kind of how you were feeling, or did it feel like a bigger race than usual? Maybe the biggest race of your life so far. Like, how did that have you thinking? And then just, walk us through the race itself. Like, what happened out there? That Anna's first climb was super exciting because they were, again, banging around, getting, she's in position, she's pushed out of position, and like she did incredible for having not been in that scenario before to like hang in there. It was great. All right, I'm talking too much. Cam, tell us about it.
Gosh, yeah, there's so much to say here, and I'm gonna try to get out some of my favorite stories, and then I can't wait to hear from everyone else. But let's maybe rewinding to Thursday and Friday was Anna and I prepping for the race and just chatting with each other, and there wasn't a whole lot that we felt like we needed to discuss. Like we got together Thursday and we just talked about how exciting it was to be in this position, and it's so new to both of us. Like obviously it's new to Anna, it's her first World Cup at all. And then to be in this position with these stakes and have a home World Cup is totally novel to me. And it's like Anna's sort of looking at me for guidance of like, so what do we do before this? How do we think about this? And I'm just telling her like this is just being in this position is such a win and a gift and a victory. Like so many people worked so hard just to give us this opportunity, and all they want to do is see us give everything we have. And what an amazing thing, right? Because that's something we can control. And then that sort of made us both feel really like loose and excited about the whole thing. And then Anna's like calm demeanor would reflect right back to me, and no moment is too big for her. And so like I would see that look in her eyes and just know that I had full trust in her being ready on Saturday morning, which made me feel so much better and able to focus on racing. And it was just like, yeah, such a cool lead up to the race. Like, yeah, being a team. And then we came to Saturday morning, the day of the relay, and we both have our qualification legs, and I'm really, really focused on my warm up because like something that's important for me is to stay separate from the outcome of anything. Like anytime you're evaluating, like, am I about to win, or is fifth place realistic, or, oh, my partner did something good, my partner did something bad, or I did something good, or I did something bad. Like anytime you're evaluating the outcome, it's a distraction from executing what you're trying to do. So I didn't watch any of Anna's race. I heard on the loudspeaker, new fastest time of the day, Anna Gibson. So I knew in the back of my head, like, okay, great. Like she's, she's in position. She's on fire today. Like, I know we're good to go. And then all I said to her in the tent was like, great job. I knew you had it. Like, talk to you again later. And she knew that I was focusing on my race. I go out and have the fastest time of the day too. And Oscar comes up to me and says like, okay, combined, like we are number one, like we had the top qualification time. And I think he was sort of looking for a reaction out of me, like, pretty cool, huh? And I just like gave him a thumbs up and looked back down at my bike and was like, yep, like, of course, like we're, we're moving along, we're moving to the next thing. And then we both go up to the indoor space, like the second floor of the lodge, and I'm getting some PT treatment, and Anna's just hanging out, and she's like, so like, yeah, pretty great, huh? And I'm like, yeah, I mean, this is exactly the way that we both prepared for. Like we have this, we know what we can do. And Arno Liatha, who was on the Swiss team that was third in the A final, and then he was second in the sprint, the next day came up to me and was like, wow, like he asked me what I had for breakfast that morning and then told me like, you guys look great, like you totally have it. And I put my fingers in my ears and was like, I'll talk to you later, Arno, like it's not important to me right now, like and he just kind of looked at me and laughed and like knew that we were in a good position and good mindset and everything. And we're sort of joking around with each other standing on the start line of the final. And Christine again on the loudspeaker says something. I think it was her, or it could have been Max Valverde. I remember hearing someone say like, and they both have like such look of focus in their eyes and on their faces. And I looked over to Anna like, we do? And then we both like made a goofy face and started laughing. And then I sent her to the start line and went back to finish my warm up and just like knew I had total trust in her getting the job done. And then the story that I'm really looking forward to people knowing is that when she was running up to me to tag off to me and I'm taking my first few jogging steps, reaching back towards her, she yelled to me like, you got this, right when I yelled, that was amazing. And so I think both of us were thinking we were going to be the only one speaking, and then we ended up speaking over each other. I think we both thought we were going to surprise the other, but instead in the middle of the race, and we're in third, fourth place at this time, like it's not, and the race is only a quarter of the way through, like nothing is sealed. We're at 3 positions behind Canada. The race is young and we're both encouraging each other in the middle of the moment. And like, that was one of the moments that like I knew that something special was going to happen. And then I get down to her, I tag off. I actually remember Sarah being really close to me yelling like, great job, Cam. And I gave her no acknowledgement, even though she's like my head of sport and like my friend and mentor and all this. And I'm just like, yeah, whatever. Like go back to the tent, focus on what's next. And I don't watch Anna at all again the second lap. Like I'm just, Rory and Stefano were going to tell me when it was time to go back over to the start line. I get back over, I see her transitioning by herself, with no one close behind her, and she's coming up to tag off to me. And then that's the moment that I knew like we have this is going to get done. I just have to go have the race of my life one more time. She tags off to me, and then normally I'm really, you probably get this impression, like I'm really averse to doing anything other than focusing on the race. Like I don't often acknowledge spectators or laugh at jokes or anything. And I just had the feeling of knowing that this was going to happen and wanting everyone else to really enjoy it. And so, yeah, you saw me give those 2 pumps with my arm to get people excited. And then it was back to, or like not even back to, like I didn't lose focus in that moment either. Like that was part of me getting to the finish line as fast as I could. Like I knew if they got louder that I had more time in it too. And then was trying really hard to focus on the racing and not think about what I knew was about to happen and just get into the finish line as fast as I could. And I just wanted to celebrate with Anna as soon as possible. Like I didn't want to wait 5 or 10 seconds longer than I had to. So I wanted to get through that course as fast as I could. And then saw the ski pop off, which delayed this celebration a few seconds. And then, got to that finish line and just looked at Anna, and we kind of grabbed each other's helmets and looked at each other like, I can't believe that just happened. So, it was so special to have that whole experience together. And then before this too, actually, so like pretty much the only thing during the race that I did, other than be like a ruthless, psycho-focused racer, was Rory looked at me and said, like, like you guys have whatever the gap was to Canada, like just be smooth, like be smart, like you probably don't have to race all out to get this done. And I just gave him this like look of bewilderment, like why would I do anything less than race this as hard as I possibly can? And I did like slow down on the descents and like try to make sure I didn't make any mistakes. Like there was kind of a backing off in that way, but I was trying to make him laugh and just looked at him like, what are you talking about? Like that is not an option. We're going for everything, and it's going to be awesome. So yeah, I just loved every minute of it, and I'm going to keep these memories forever. And
thanks dearly for listening to Olympic Dispatch by Skimo Gold. This is the premier podcast for ski mountaineering interviews and race analysis. Skimo in the Olympics starting tomorrow. Be sure to watch it. The sprint races, Team USA will be competing. Cam Smith and Anna Gibson. And now you know everything about them. Hey, if you know other people who are thinking about watching Skimo in the Olympics, please hit pause right now and share this episode with them within your podcast player. If you're on your phone, you can just text it on over. You can email it on over. If you're on YouTube, one way or another, please share this. That really helps us. And also take a minute to rate the podcast, hit that 5-star button. Reviews really help us. And we want to hear from you. Give us some comments on YouTube. Reach out to us on the DMs, Instagram at Skimo Gold. And in fact, a shout out to one of our primary Skimo Gold audience members. That's Brian Wickenhauser over there in Gunnison. Wick, thanks for listening. Thanks for your feedback. Other listeners, we want to hear from you as well. We might give you some shouts out there as well. And oh, hey, Wick, thanks for helping the Skimo movement from the start. Wick's been going hard since the early to mid 2000s over there with the Grand Traverse and other events in the sport from the start. So thanks for listening, Wick. We appreciate you. We also appreciate our sponsors. It's been a lot of work for me and palmtreepodco.com to keep this going every day. So thanks to the brands who want to be part of Skimo and who want to be in there with you and have you using their stuff. Please check out Pomoka skins. The climbing skin, if you're not familiar, that's what goes on the bottom of the ski. It allows you to slide uphill and also get that grip so you can hike or run or glide up the hill. Check out Pomoka. That's what I've been using from the start. Check out Dynafit as well. I wear their stuff head to toe. I was out there today up above 12,000 feet on Monarch Pass wearing my Dynafit jacket, my Dynafit pants, having fun, and if I have to say, looking pretty good as well. Thanks to Training Peaks. That Skimo workout I did today went from my watch and through the Garmin system and automatically into Training Peaks, where I could look at it. I could check out my heart rate. I could look at the VAM. I could look at the course profile, look at all those key metrics. Training Peaks is the platform I've been using for over 10 years as an athlete and as a coach. Please check out trainingpeaks.com/Skimo Gold for a free trial as an athlete or a coach. Or if you're already using Training Peaks, check out their Skimo training plans. And if you decide to select one of those, you can get 20% off your premium subscription. Again, that is all through trainingpeaks.com/Skimo Gold. One of the things I put in my body every day, in addition to a lot of good food, a lot of good water, as much sleep as possible as will be allowed by being the father of 2 teenagers, that good thing that I put in that helps me keep going is Revanta Creatine by Neuro Reserve. I am very concerned about cognition, strength, brain, and energy. That's one of the those are many of the reasons I use this product. Go to revantacreatine.com/Skimo Gold and then put in code Skimo Gold, all caps, for 10% off. Revanta Creatine by Neuro Reserve. Please also check out Camp. Big thanks to Camp for supporting the Skimo Gold podcast. I started using Camp helmets, packs, gloves, and more when I got into Skimo more than 15 years ago, and I've continued using it since. I use it for rock climbing. I've done many adventure races all over the world using Camp climbing stuff, using their helmets, using their packs. It's good stuff. It's from Italy, where the Olympics are, so please check them out at Camp. All right, folks, let you roll with that. Skimo starts tomorrow in the Olympics. We do have another episode tomorrow morning coming at you. Interview with Tatiana Poller, one of the medal contenders from Germany in the sprint race. So it'd be great to hear that. And then following those races, the sprint on the 19th and the mixed relay on the 21st, we're going to be getting you race analysis as soon as possible. All right, folks, keep it up out there. I hope it's snowing where you are. I hope you can ski uphill, and if not ski, at least run or bike or walk or something. We will catch you tomorrow on Skimo Gold.